So we are in the midst of a short series called Reclaiming Jesus. And I have been devoting quite a bit of time over the last number of months to exploring new materials and revisiting materials I've studied many years ago. Materials that deal with this idea of the humanity of Jesus, that deal with the idea of stripping away the myths around Jesus and coming to really understand much more clearly who he was and what he taught and what he stood for. And we really want to emphasize the idea of faith as a state of being, that it is not about a statement of faith. It is not about here are the dogmatic creeds and doctrines that if you are Christian, you must believe these things. Not that. In fact, quite honestly, I don't particularly care what somebody believes, but I care tremendously how someone lives. I care tremendously what are the qualities of life that we are living from. And are they the kinds of qualities of life that will make the world a more just and beautiful and loving and kind world for everyone, with no exceptions and no exclusions? And that has very little to do with just a lineation of things that we believe, but has everything to do with the way that we choose to live our lives. And so faith is not about belief. Faith is about action. Faith is about being. Did you know that in the New Testament, there are several different understandings and uses of the word faith? And yet it seems like all of the way that we look at faith in Christianity is about belief. It's similar to the reality that in the Bible, the word love that we have translated, whenever we see the word love in the Bible, we translate it as one word, the word love. And yet, the root of that word love had 4 different roots in an attempt to describe that there are different kinds of love. And yet, when we read, we just see one word. And we miss the fact that the teaching might not have been about, say, romantic love, eros love, but may have been about, the one speaking, may have been about what's called agape love, which is universal unconditional love, or filial love, which is the love of family, the love of friends, or storge love, which is the love of compassion and kindness. And can you feel into the difference, the nuances of each of those, right? And yet we seem to just focus on one kind, and we focus on it much to our own disadvantage. Well, the same is true with the word faith. It has tended to just be used to describe the kind of faith that comes from the Latin word assensus, which means to intellectually agree with something. To intellectually agree with something. But there are 3 other expressions of faith. And I want to share those with you and share with you why we want to try to live by those 3 other definitions of faith. We're going to look at the first one, radical trust in God, fiducia. Radical trust in God. Say that with me. Radical trust in God. I want you to emphasize the word radical. Radical trust in God. Not just lukewarm, oh, okay, I trust God. Radical trust in God. Jesus epitomized radical trust in God. His was a living faith. His was a radical trust in his relationship with God. His was a radical trust in the divinity of every person. He had a radical trust in humanity itself. A radical trust. If you had a radical trust in your life, what would you do that you've not yet done?
Thanks for listening. Sunday services at 9 and 11 a.m. Inclusivity. It's worth the drive. Subscribe to our podcasts and download our free app for instant access to a wealth of spiritual teachings, services, and events.